Hello, my name's Kirsty and this is the first ever video I've ever done, so I apologise in advance if it's a disaster. Basically, I want to talk about my personal story with Jehovah's Witnesses and my experience while I was in the religion and the effects that it's also had afterwards. I've kept very quiet for a long time. It's been a decade since I was disassociated, although not by my own choice, but I can talk about that later. Basically, I was born into the religion. I was very spiritually involved my whole life growing up. I was baptised when I was 14. I was one of the youngest in the congregation to get baptised. I was pioneering at 15, and I also helped with the sign language congregations. We helped set up several sign language congregations and used to spread the word through sign language as well. So I was very, very involved in the religion. But when I was 15, I'd say, I started to feel very, very excluded in the congregation. The teenagers that were my age joined their own little cliques and their own little groups, and they refused to include me in that. And I never really felt like I fitted in. When I was at school, the other Jehovah's Witnesses in the school wouldn't talk to me. They'd stay in their own little group, and I became very isolated and very depressed as a result. When I was 15, I started associating with people that weren't Jehovah's Witnesses. I was just seeking friendship from anywhere, inclusion. I just wanted to be included in something. And the more I spent time with people out of the religion, the more I realised that it wasn't the truth. It wasn't. And I started to stop going to meetings. I started self-harming, and just completely cut myself off. And the Jehovah's Witnesses are supposed to come up and advise you. If you're starting to stray a little bit, they're supposed to come up and support you, tell you you're straying, try and help you back on your feet. In my case, I had 3 elders come round when I was 15, or possibly just turned 16, and they all said that if I didn't disassociate myself, I would be classed as disfellowshipped. They never stated why, but they basically blamed my self-harming as defiling the body, instead of seeing it as a cry for help, which it actually was. They punished me for it and disassociated me. Shortly after that, I was kicked out of my family home. I was 16 at the time. I was put into supported accommodation, and I started acting like how I was raised to see the world as. So basically everything they told me that worldly people act, I did to try and fit in. I just wanted to fit in somewhere. I was completely cut off from my family, my friends that I'd all grown up with. Everybody I knew had just disappeared. My entire family are Jehovah's Witnesses. I lost everybody because of the organisation. And even in that situation, the doctrines were so ingrained into me that I refused to look outside of the JW information to find out the truth about the religion. I refused to go into depths because I was too scared of what I might find, of what I wouldn't find, or, what if I was right all along? What if I was wrong all along? And I refused to acknowledge the religion altogether and completely shut myself off. And I ended up having 2 beautiful boys who were the saviours of me, basically. They very much helped me get back on my feet. I stopped self-harming, I stopped hurting myself in many ways, and I started living a very happy, normal life. And the thing with the Jehovah's Witnesses, they are taught that everyone who isn't a Jehovah's Witness is going to end up miserable, living in a hovel, doing all these horrendous things, doing drugs, sleeping around, and basically committing all acts that the Bible condemns. And that's what everybody that isn't a Jehovah's Witness does. But it's the complete opposite. There are bad people in this world, there are. But there are also bad people in the congregation, things that they hide from Jehovah's Witnesses, such as the sex abuse scandals, which I've only found out about recently. I remember there was one elder that was in our congregation who was disfellowshipped, and nobody was allowed to know the reason why. But it was actually because of a sex abuse scandal. He was molesting several children in the congregation, and they all came forward at the same time, so there was enough witnesses to actually take it to the police, and he was convicted and arrested. So it does go on, although in that case they did deal with it. But there are a lot of cases where they have hidden it, and it is the regulations for the elders not to report it to the police until they've already sent it to Bethel first. Anyway, I refused to research anything about Jehovah's Witnesses for fear of what I would find, and fear of what if people found out that I was researching. I was terrified of the word apostate, which I will most likely get labelled as now, but I'm doing it anyway. I stumbled across a website called JW Survey. This is the first time I ever looked outside, but the way JW Survey has worded their information and the way they provide the information, it was from an actual ex-Jehovah's Witness. It's not slating, it's not propaganda, it's not throwing it in your face. It's genuine facts from a neutral perspective of what really goes on, and it made me pay attention, because I'll see websites or YouTube videos where they just slate and say, oh, they're this, they're that, anything, but there's no hard facts. And I really appreciated that about JW Survey. I've subscribed to John Cedars, and I recommend anyone watching this does the same. He has some very, very good videos. I've put a link below so you can go to his website, his YouTube video. And I'd like to thank John Cedars in particular for helping me get the courage to do this video. This has taken a lot. And I'd also like to say that anybody out there who has been disfellowshipped or disassociated like me and has experienced the same thing, speak out while you can. It's cruel what they do. They punish you for your flaws instead of helping you like they should be doing. Like in my case, my self-harming, instead of helping me deal with that, find out why and try and help, they pushed me away and shunned me, and I lost my entire family because I needed help. And the way they treat ex-Jehovah's Witnesses is completely against what the Bible teaches. I mean, the Bible says Jehovah will handle those who do wrong. It's not in your place. The prodigal son, he was welcomed the second he came back to his family. All the Bible states is how God is love, and God is generous, and God is forgiving. Shunning isn't the opposite to what Jehovah teaches. And there's also been a major court case about to come into fruition for breach against human rights, simply because of the disfellowshipping. It is against human rights. Stripping your family away from you, taking everything you know from you, indoctrinating you so that it's all you know, integrating fear throughout your entire life of rejection. I mean, to this day, the psychological effects have seriously affected me. I have a horrendous fear of rejection. I cannot handle rejection at all. Since I was disfellowshipped, losing everything makes you terrified to lose anything else, and it still affects me to this day. I have severe anxiety. I mean, I'm shaking right now making this video. I have panic attacks, I have anxiety attacks, I barely leave my house, and the majority of my anxiety roots from being disfellowshipped. I will not even take my bins out without having makeup on. I have to dress properly, I have to look proper, I have to make an effort no matter what, because I was raised like that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's ingrained, and that's what's wrong. They are ingraining the wrong things into people, and awareness needs to be spread. People need to speak out. And also, if there's anyone who's watching this who's suffered any psychological effects, such as anxiety, depression, anything that you think might be caused by Jehovah's Witnesses, can you please comment and spread the word? It really needs to be known just how bad it really is. Thank you for watching.